A very warm welcome to this week. 60 minutes of analytical review of the big stories, topical issues, and all the controversies around the world. I'm Somna Sambo. And now to the headlines. Presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, recants following his emotional outburst in Abeokuta, says he never meant to disrespect President Muhammadu Buhari, but that he was misinterpreted. And former Vice President Atiku Abubakar received certificate of return as the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party as he prepares to announce his running mate ahead of the 2023 polls. And the Nigeria Center for Disease Control denies existence of US-controlled laboratories in Nigeria from where it is alleged that monkeypox disease is being developed. It's probably one of the most interesting times in Nigerian politics as the governing All Progressives Congress shops for a presidential candidate among the eligible aspirants that have been screened thus far. Now, the recent outburst of a leading presidential aspirant, former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, has become the trending news as the party counts hours to its presidential primary election. Tinubu, while in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State, to meet with delegates, spoke of his huge contributions to the success of President Muhammadu Buhari in the polls after 3 failed attempts. Now, Tinubu said, having sacrificed enough for the party and his political sons, in quote, it is time for the kingmaker to become the king. But after several commentaries, Tinubu has recanted, saying he has no intention of denigrating the presidency and that he was misinterpreted. Also, the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Presidential Campaign Organization has stated that the comments made by Tinubu have been misinterpreted by the media and were not meant to ridicule President Muhammadu Buhari. And this is coming in the midst of information that 10 aspirants of 23 presidential aspirants were asked, advised or disqualified to step down. We haven't got the real situation at the moment, as party sources are informing Arise News that it's not disqualified as the media was earlier carrying it, but that they were advised to step down. Well, we'll be discussing all of these issues with my guests here in the studio. And how will Tinubu wriggle out of this situation with the primaries just hours ahead? Will this development pose any threat to his ambition too? Well, we'll be going on to our guests here, which we have in the studio. And I'm starting with Biodun Ajiboye, who is a political strategist, public affairs analyst, and a member of the All Progressives Congress and chieftain of the APC in Lagos, who is joining us here. Babatunde Bak Anthony is in the studio with me here. And of course, we will be joined in the offside by Danjuma Mohammed, who is also a member of the APC. He will be joining us later. And gentlemen, welcome to the show. And let's start with you, Biodun Ajiboye. What do you make of all the developments in the APC in the last few hours, the last 48 hours, especially as it regards Tinubu's statement?
Well, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in Abeokuta. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in Abeokuta, and he spoke passionately about Nigeria, the APC, the beginning of APC, where we are today and where we are likely to be in future. Emotional interpretations have been given to his speech. The speech in itself is rendition of facts and speaking the truth. But probably some people feel he shouldn't have spoken in that manner, while some feel politics is full of that tribe and jabs. Everybody who is a notable politician at some point throws jabs.
So Tinubu was throwing jabs.
And is acceptable in politics. But however, the interpretation of his intention is another thing altogether.
And what's the right intention? Before I go to Bank
putting records straight, what he has said is very simple. I met Buhari and we said together, if we support you, you will win elections. Having looked at the trajectory of that time, it was very obvious that Buhari needed some kind of support from some kind of quarters. He had control on that quarters. And he said, look, I'll bring my virtues, my value to the table. And believe me, Mr. Buhari, you will win. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's the right confidence required in politics.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, please, Mr. Buhari, if we are able to strike this and it works out, do not forget the Yoruba nation. Because what Bola Tinubu has just simply said is, look, I am Yoruba and I'm speaking for my people. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with that.
Okay, and now
every politics is local.
Yeah, I mean, so Bakatu, I can see you clearing your throat here. Yeah, it's been a very fantastic weekend of politics. We haven't had the politics being supercharged like this. What do you make of these comments?
Very interesting that my friend here over 40 years, I mean, is already moving away from the statement issued by the Bola Tinubu camp themselves. Clearly. You understand? And if he says, you know, don't let's play sentiment here. We're talking about an individual who believes he has a personal right, is entitled. His comment is not a Yoruba thing. His comment is purely a personal thing.
But he's been seen elsewhere as a leader of the Yoruba nation.
Excuse me, you know, with all due respect, Bola Tinubu can never claim to be leader of Yoruba nation. He's too far away from that. He's not even near that at all. So don't let's miss politics with that. He's an accomplished politician, right? He has raised the bar without due respect. But for him to speak to a governor like that and speak about the president like that, if you don't know the genesis of this marriage, it was he that was looking towards the president, towards Mr. Buhari then, for an alliance. You have to look at the genesis of ACN. When AC was formed, Bola Tinubu formed AC. It did not contest under that party. The party went to ACN. It did not contest under that party. Do you understand me? He was trying to build a party with people of pedigree and integrity. Do you understand? Don't let's go there. Don't let's go there at all. With due respect to him, it can be emotional, but that was just for a man who claims to be a strategist, for a man who thinks 10 steps ahead of people, of things, that was just a total falling apart.
Okay, and what do you make by Dapo Abiodun too, who has also recanted? He also said that, look, he wasn't referring to Ashwaju in a statement when he made.
Let me tell you something, right? But did Ashwaju recant what he said to Dapo? That is just my answer. If Dapo recanted, did Ashwaju recanted what he said to Dapo? That he lay, you, without me, without God.
Okay, I'm back to you. It looks like you said it that all politics is local, and it looks like a lot of people in the local politics in Ogun State, where you have 4 presidential aspirants in the APC. Tunde Bakare is there, Amosu is there. I mean, a lot of persons are angry, and they are saying that Tinubu carefully chose that state to make this statement. Maybe probably a dig at Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who's the leader, at least a top contender among those contesting from Ogun State.
Sumner, Tunde Bankantoni has said a few things that need to be addressed.
Go ahead.
He said Tinubu is laying a personal claim, a personal right, saying the president has his personal right. That is not correct.
Presidency.
Presidency has a personal right. That's not correct.
Please correct me.
The man is playing by the rules in every ramification you can think about. Out of all the presidential aspirants we have, is the only one that's worked hardest.
You are wrong.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Him to make his point.
He is not banking on any consensus. He's not banking on any endorsement. He takes the politics as it should be. He's going around canvassing, letting them know that I have what it takes to attain this position, to get this. Give it to me. Appealing to delegates everywhere. That is not a man.
He's not waiting for anointing oil.
He doesn't, because he doesn't. I mean, he said again that Bola Tinubu is too far from being a Yoruba leader. I really do not know what it means, But let me tell you what I know. The Yoruba nation looks up to Bola Tinubu as in the area of politics as the political leader of the Yorubas. And I'll tell you what I mean. It's very simple. You see, if you feel aggrieved about somebody, you can discountenance his pedigree and his goodliness. It's natural. But if you want to be factual with yourselves, then you put the facts before you and analyze it. From the beginning of politics in Nigeria, we had a leader called Obafemi Awolowo. Obafemi Awolowo ever wished that we could have a handshake across the Niger. He never achieved it. He tried. Give it to him. He's a leader of all leaders. Awolowo is a leader the Yorubas will never forget.
As the father-in-law of the incumbent vice president.
I'm talking about Obafemi Awolowo. I'm not talking about anybody's father-in-law. Obafemi Awolowo. And number two, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to say, no, the Yorubas must be at the center. What was the position of the Yorubas in Jonathan's administration? I need you to tell me or try to remember. We were nobody.
Of course, Afedifere was always.
We were nobody. Bola Tinubu made it possible for Yorubas to be number 2, number 4, and so on and so forth. Give it to him.
Okay. So
he has tried.
Okay, ahead of the APC presidential race now, why is it difficult for leaders from the Southwest to come together and present a common front? Because isn't this home fighting, going to cost you the presidential ticket?
It will not. The Yorubas have a way of resolving their problems. And talks are going on to see how best the problems are going to be resolved in the next 24 hours. Okay. You see, because let me tell you, it shows that the Yoruba race is one race that embraces fundamental rights, and they appreciate that, look, let's give ourselves an opportunity to aspire. That's why you see a lot of candidates coming. You understand? So,
Bankantoni, let's talk about the need to have a common front. We saw Bababisi Akonde gathering all these presidential aspirants in the APC, but there was no unity. Do you think that unity can be achieved?
Excuse me, with due respect,
in the few hours left.
Let me take an exception of what he has said. This is the first time they're talking about Yoruba as an issue in this election, right? Clearly, every Yoruba man that has stepped out of APC wanting to be the candidate of APC have been labeled a traitor by the Bola Tinubu camp. That is the way they started it.
Wrong.
Do you understand me? That is the way they started it. If they went so far to call Oshibajo a Judas, right? They went so far to call Fayemi names. They claim that in their own deluded mind that
of course we have to be civil as we are.
I'm sorry.
So that we don't use words that will.
He is the only person that can. Even I saw some of their billboard. Only on the ballot paper, victory is assured. You see, Yoruba race, we are very civilized, we are very sophisticated. Do you understand me? And we believe in fundamental human rights. But one person who has bring authoritarian into the politics of you said you are talking about Afenifere in 2011, right? PDP Jonathan government. Do you understand me? The number 4 citizen then was also be Mulika Akonde, honorable from Oyo State. Actually, you worked against her, right? Even PDP settled for Mulika Akonde. It's on the record. I'm not painting white black here. They team up with Tambuwal, the ACN team up with Tambuwal to make Tambuwal the speaker. And that if you're talking about Yoruba, that is one Yoruba agenda that they failed in. That's why you failed in. Secondly, you are talking about Yoruba fundamental right. It's telling me Asiwaju is leader of Yoruba in political times. There are so many of them. Hey, Asiwaju is a leader. Fayemi is leader. Amosu is leader.
But you can't discountenance also that when other tribes and regions are looking up to the southwest, they see Asiwaju coming first among all of this. Maybe first among equals.
If you say first among equals, don't tell me that you one thing in Yoruba land, we call it Omoluabi. It's not about money. It's not about your private jet or your cars or your plane or your yacht. No. It's about your pedigree. What is your pedigree? If you don't have a pedigree, you are a nobody. You understand? So let us get it clearly. Asiwaju has done well politically. So has Fashola. So has Fayemi. You understand? So has Amosu.
Okay.
So
let's come back to the APC National Convention so that we don't miss it. Now the APC we have heard has screened out like about 10 of the 23. We haven't heard them being mentioned and all of that. Now tell us, ahead of the conventions, is there this high level of credibility that whatever will be happening at the convention will be acceptable to all aspirants? Do you think that there's a level playing ground for all aspirants that will be going to the national convention on Monday?
APC has to be careful so as not to bungle the credibility they had garnered over the years. APC under President Muhammadu Buhari has the opportunity of being referred to as a credible political party with a lot of integrity. With the kind of contraption and games, shenanigans we have seen in the past, with the advent of that interim caretaker committee, and even after that, the continual shift of goalposts and attitudinal inconsistency is sending a wrong signal. We have to be careful. The APC is an amalgamation of a lot of interests and legacies. And we need to manage the legacies and manage our aspirations well in order not to bungle the opportunity we have.
Yeah,
so the president...
I ask him that, do you think that Bola Tinubu is being treated well as the national leader in court of the APC ahead of the convention, or you think it's because he's afraid that he's not been given his right dues, that's why he had to go on this outburst?
What outbursts? I'm asking you, what outbursts are you referring to, so I can address it? Answer me, what outbursts, so that I can know exactly which one to address. Is it the Abeokuta statement you see as outburst, or which one? The man understands the game of politics. You see, when Bankantoni speaks and says Fayemi is a leader, X is a leader, Y is a leader, I laugh at him because I know that he's worried, he's concerned. I don't know. But the man all of a sudden...
Are you saying that they are concerned that Tinubu may emerge as the presidential
candidate?
Candidate? That's why...
The guy sitting next to me...
Is that what you're thinking?
No, listen, Sumna. The guy sitting next to me is very concerned about some things. Otherwise,
about what?
Why would you say that a man who started politics way back in 1992 is the same as the man who got into politics 6 years ago and became vice president? Was he a politician? Excuse me. There's nothing like that. Excuse me.
This man needs to be educated.
There's nothing like that.
I will.
Please, you have no education to give me.
I will.
There's no education you want to give me. I'm only saying that you are not putting your facts right.
You know what? I will educate you. I will educate you. I will educate you.
You have nothing to educate me about Bankantoni. There is nothing to tell me.
Quickly, before we go on break, right? Yeah. You are making reference to Oshibajo was exposed to public life before Bola Tinubu. If you don't know that, and let me make something clear. Excuse me, please.
Just hold on.
Politics is public life. If you don't know that,
hold on,
that's why I said I need to educate you.
Tell me what political party he was in 1980.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
The genesis of Bola Tinubu is from Primrose.
You don't know the genesis
I'm telling you. Let him discount me. You are just... Why are you interjecting me?
You have no facts to tell me.
Why are you interjecting? What do you know about politics? What do you know about politics?
Hold on.
You don't understand. You don't know about politics.
And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Well, you're still watching This Week on the Rise News, and it's getting hot here ahead of the APC National Convention, and the Southwest is getting hot. we just hope that it doesn't lead to like what happened in the 60s, the early 60s. You all have to settle this issue at home, and we'll go on break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation ahead of the APC National Convention. Stay with us.
When we wanted to move faster and see more of the world, we found a way. We also found ways to connect beyond boundaries. And when an unprecedented pandemic tried to derail us, we found ways to get ahead.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Ready. Ready.
As your bank, we have stayed proactive, creating dynamic solutions and leveraging cutting-edge technology to drive global expansion into new markets. We rolled up our sleeves to be human together, doing more, innovating smarter, and always showing up for you. So come on board, let's give you more.
Access, more than banking.
Here's a card we no go give you stress at all. Zero waiting, zero queue.
First banking virtual card.
Here's a card we no go give you wahala. Zero trouble now for you.
First banking
Tell
virtual
off it
card.
tell off it spoiler. Who won't break 'em? Where you want say now only you get 'em. Nothing fit do one. Sharp, sharp payment not the way. Swipe they go, you know the way. Virtual card with the sweet body. Virtual card we know the shape person. We put you first again. First banking virtual card we put you first again. Generate your virtual card we put you first again. First banking virtual card we put you first again. Just generate your virtual card.
We started our journey over 7 years ago, connecting travelers to their favorite destinations. Since then, we've revolutionized how we want our passengers to feel while flying. That is why we've introduced our brand new Embraer 195E2 aircraft. We are on a mission to add new destinations to our ever-increasing fleet. Our Boeing 777 will take you on an international journey. Mumbai, Guangzhou, London, Johannesburg. And now, APC is adding a new destination, Dubai.
If you're gonna fly, then you should fly with us on
Air Peace flies you from all our domestic routes to Dubai from Lagos at no additional cost.
A very warm welcome to This Week, which is a review program of all the big stories that happened during the week. And of course, we're still discussing the issues in the All Progressives Congress ahead of the national primary election that is meant to hold on Monday way up until Wednesday, where they will be electing a presidential candidate for Nigeria's ruling party. And then, of course, I'm being joined in the studio by Otumba Abiodun Ajiboye, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress and a chieftain for that matter. And then, of course, we also have Babatunde Bank Anthony, who is also chieftain of the APC, and then former DG of the Lagos State Sports Commission. And of course, in our offsite studio is Danjuma Mohammed, who is also a leading member of the All Progressives Congress and is joining us from our offsite. He's also a former national chairman of the Movement for the Restoration and Defense of Democracy, MRDD, one of the old political parties. And I'll come to you, Danjuma. What's been your reaction to all the developments in the APC of recent, including the fact that we are hearing that about 10 presidential aspirants may miss out of participation in the primary election because they've been asked to step aside, or they may not have enough capacity to win, or they've been disqualified? That's all we are hearing.
Thank you. For me, I think the party is playing safe by going through thorough screening and ensuring that the aspirants with cases that pertains post-election legal matters, do not make it to the election. I mean, it's the safest thing for any responsible political party to do. I mean, you cannot allow candidates with with issues that could lead to litigation after elections. I mean, go through your process, emerge. Don't forget that once the candidate gets disqualified by law, there will be no a fresh election. I mean, the second runner-up becomes president, so the entire party loses out. So I think that is apt for me. And secondly, even though you've not asked me, I've been listening to conversation, a very heated conversation between my two brothers from the Southwest. I want to appeal to them that we are from the same camp, from the same party. We have a general election ahead of us. We must unite after the primary elections and support, whoever the party, particularly whoever the president, because in this case, we are not contesting elections to access power. We are contesting election to retain power. So the president, in most democratic tradition, in ruling parties, concede that wisdom of nominating, not really nominating, at least presenting a successor to the outgoing president, for endorsement by the organs of the party, which is now known as party primaries. And that is when consensus, the term consensus, is fully expressed.
Okay, and we'll want to ask of your response to Bola Tinubu's outburst. He has already said that he was misquoted, he was misinterpreted. It looks like the media didn't do his job very well in interpreting the Yoruba language that he used. We don't know if the version that he spoke is different from the one that is widely heard by members of that ethnicity. So what do you make of what we have heard so far being interpreted as the meaning that Tinubu was giving to his speech?
Yes. First, I would say that we should kind of accept Tinubu's explanations and not hold him down with that misexpression which we had, because I am happy that he is coming from an apologetic point of view. I'm very happy about it, because what I had really was unbecoming of a national leader of our great party. But what I want to say, and having said that, I want our national leader, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to show us example of patriotism. I can remember, and if you will recall, that in 2015 he had this offer to become the vice president, to the present president, that is as running mate in the general elections of 2015. And he said something very instructive. Having known that by his faith, a Muslim ticket could not really sell in that election, he said he sacrificed it. He sacrificed that offer for Nigeria. For me, that is the climax of patriotism. And I want to say that he should sit down and look at it very well today. The prevailing circumstance of 2015 that made it, a kind of it made it of necessity for him to concede the vice presidential ticket to His Excellency Yemi Osibanjo is today, in fact, more prevailing and more compelling on him today as a statesman. So he should please allow us to have one house as a father, allow us to present Yemi Osibanjo to Nigerians for election as our next president.
Well,
for reasons of continuity.
How come you only say Yemi Osibanjo? How about other aspirants?
That's his candidate.
Are you not being unfair?
Yes, I'm coming there. No. Yes, I did say prevailing circumstance. Excuse me, my brother. We are going out there into the general elections to defend our projects of last 8 years, to explain what the public, some section of the public, sees as failures in our policies of the last 8 years, to also further a kind of explain the reasons behind certain circumstances today in Nigeria. Like I said, don't forget, we are contesting election. We are contesting election not to access power. We are in power. It is not a normal circumstance. And nobody has this knowledge of all the contestants. A comprehensive knowledge of what has been going on in government in the last 8 or 7 years.
All right, we must thank you so much, Danjuma
So it is
Mohammed.
not a personal thing. It is national interest.
Okay, well, that's national in quotes, according to your own definition. Well, we must thank you, Danjuma Mohammed, for joining us on the show to give your own perspective. And I come back to you. You were trying to make a point before we went on that break, and then we had to come back. Let's look at the APC National Convention. How do we drive a unity? How do we ensure that there's unity and then the ruling party does not cause crisis that will, of course, envelope the larger society because of these different political camps?
Politics is about interest. Let's get that clear. And all politics is local, right? And we are one big family with different interests, but one same focus. To retain power, right? To queue behind whoever has come out as the winner. The party are putting everything in place for this convention. They are not doing it as if, they are doing it for a particular purpose. But from what my brother said, that APC has to be careful, they have to be, some shenanigans or whatever. There's no shenanigans.
No, of course, that's why I said let's be very, very civil in our choice of language.
The point is that we must always understand that you are coming into a game. You cannot determine if you finish that race. If Asiwaju should win the ticket, so be it. If he should lose, so be it, right? Let the party come together behind whoever wins.
Okay.
These primaries. And like you said, they've been screened. There are so many rumors going on in social media. We know that is what they live on, right? By tomorrow, thereabout, there will be a list of cleared aspirants in the newspapers for people to see. It will gladden my heart to see Bola Tinubu being cleared, Osibanjo being cleared, Fahemi being cleared, Amosu being cleared. You understand me? Then Amechi being cleared and Bulawal being cleared.
And this is the problem that we're having, Biodun Ajiboye. We are seeing almost like about 5, 6, or 7 persons from the Yoruba ethnic stock coming to seek for the presidential ticket of the APC. Haven't they learned from what happened to the Igbo ethnicity in the PDP? Why is it difficult to have a uniformity of thought? Wouldn't it lead to a division of votes that will eventually make them to all lose out?
How can you have uniformity when a bona fide Yoruba son here has started to stamp logic on its head and twist facts just because some things do not suit his purpose? I am so surprised that he does not appreciate that Bola Tinubu could be referred to as leader of Yorubas in politics. That's one part. Secondly, there is nothing wrong in There's nothing wrong. Yes, well, I mean, I can be if I want to be. There's nothing wrong.
Okay.
If you call me Asiwaju spokesman,
it looks like that's where his own sentiments lie.
The man that just spoke here just believes that Osinbajo should be president of Nigeria. That's his belief. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I mean, and you're actually right to also want to defend Tinubu because that's your own belief.
I am saying you're talking about the Yorubas. No, you are talking about the all Yorubas coming candidates or aspirants coming out. Look,
and if it won't deprive the Southwest of the chances of producing
there is nothing wrong in it as long as everybody believes they can win the primaries. Let's go for the election. Whoever wins, wins. We are prepared on the part. I mean, well, let me not say that. Asiwaju's camp is prepared to go for the election. Whoever is prepared to go for the election, to come for the election. Do not disenfranchise anyone. Whoever wins is a better politician. You remember Ibrahim Tahir says whoever has the structure has the politics. So let's go. There's no need to tell anybody to step down for anybody. Let's go for the primaries.
So you're very confident that the structure is in the hands.
There's nothing wrong
of Asiwaju.
Not necessarily. But what I'm saying to you is very simple. Asiwaju is prepared to go for the election. Whoever is prepared to go for the elections to come out, let's go for the primaries. If he loses the primaries, he goes home.
Okay, very quickly before we move on to the next topic.
It must be fair, free, and fair contest. Anything short of that is unacceptable.
I just want to ask you the same question. With all these names that you have mentioned, won't it deprive the Southwest of the opportunity of producing a presidential candidate in the APC like it happened to the Igbos?
No, it will not. It's not. The point is that the first belief then was, this thing is being sown to the Southwest. That was when the Asiwaju people felt it's their God-given right that nobody should come out except him. And they got that very wrong. Now we have quality people from the Southwest. We have the likes of Fayemi, the likes of Osinbajo, the likes of Amosu, and Bola Tinubu as well. Coming out.
You're not mentioning Tunde Bakari and
I'm talking about people who have Bola Tinubu. The biggest thing he has done is being a governor for 8 years. Amosu has done it. Fayemi is doing it. Right? He was a senator, they are senators. So there's nothing fantastic about his political record. Nothing whatsoever to me. Do you understand me? Elective politics. He has been a governor for 8 years. So as Amosu, so is Fayemi. She understand. So for me, the Southwest will go in there, right? If at the end of the day you want to win all my delegates from my state, so be it. We've seen this. It's always
there will be no outcry when a northerner, if a northerner emerges like it's been alleged.
How many northerners are there? How many northerners are there? No, tell me how many northerners are there. Okay. Do you have only one northerner? Of course not. Okay. There are few northerners as well.
Yes.
There are few we have people from the east as well.
Ahmed Lawan, we have Yaya Bello, and the list goes on, including the Jigawa State Governor, Badaru, and Ahmed Yerima. So. We'll just go on this short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the PDP and, of course, the last story, which has to do with health issues. Stay with us.